Welcome to Think Wedding Business, the podcast where we interview leading wedding entrepreneurs and find out what makes them a success in the industry. With me, Howard Wing.
And me, Adam Wing. Whether you're a florist or a photographer, a cake maker, videographer, new to the industry, or just looking for some inspiration, then this is the place to be.
So without further ado, let's get into today's episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're in for an incredible night. Oh, we're taking it up a notch.
Today's guest is probably the most in-demand business DJ that I've ever known. The legend that is Mr. Andy Murphy.
In my mindset, what I tend to do is make a film, and if that film isn't up on social media the next day before that couple have left the venue, I don't think it's worth putting up.
Is that where you get most of your inquiries from then?
Just don't be a dick.
Hey, be sure you stick around because we're only getting warmed up.
Just hoisting the skirt up, the pee right there and then in front of me.
Well, good afternoon. Today's guest is a very good friend of mine. It's so great to have him here to share what he knows about the wedding industry. Now, this man is probably the most in-demand wedding DJ in the UK, and I know he does weddings abroad as well, but he always seems to have his book completely filled. Probably the busiest DJ that I've ever known, and we're going to find out how he does it. So, without further ado, it's great to introduce the legend that is Mr. Andy Murphy.
Hello there, how are you?
Award-winning wedding DJ, Andy
multi-award-winning.
Murphy.
Multi-award-winning.
I won't read your website blurb word for word, but it's something along those lines.
Yes, it is.
How you doing, mate?
I'm very well, and thank you for asking me along.
That's all right. Well, the reason you're here is because you are possibly one of the best networkers, I think, that I've ever known in the wedding industry. Would you say the same?
I would agree, yeah. Massively. Especially in the Northwest, and literally everybody. You're most well known and well liked, I would say, DJ.
Well liked? Well liked too.
Yeah.
Nice to know. Nice to hear that.
I like him.
There's going to be a bit more banter because Andy is a good mate of mine, so...
He's worried about the edit, aren't you?
Yeah, don't leave me loads to edit. Anyway, you've built this brilliant career as a wedding DJ, but also, as Howard said, the networking side of things. There's loads of stuff to go into about how and I know you're big on awards as well, so we've got loads to chat about. But how many years have you been doing it now?
A professional wedding DJ, about 14 years. 14. But I've been in and out of DJing since I left school.
So the obvious basic question to start off with is how it all came about, how you got into weddings.
By pure accident. To get into DJing was by pure accident because I was in my local pub and they're the DJ. And the landlord of the pub knew I enjoyed music, knew I dabbled with, DJing at home sort of thing. Mm. And the DJ let them down in the pub and all the gear was there. And he said, Murph, you like a bit of music, don't you? And I was like, okay, yeah. And he said, jump up there and DJ. And then from that, it turned into quiz nights and karaoke and the usual kind of thing. And then weddings kind of came out of that, really. And I jumped into weddings and never looked back.
You do corporate stuff as well?
I don't do many corporate gigs because I kind of market myself as a wedding DJ, but I do the odd corporate event, maybe 2 or 3 a year, but yeah, not as much as I'd like to because corporate events are
Well, why weddings then? Because you market yourself as a wedding DJ, so that's conscious choice to not do.
I think weddings are just more fun and you see people at their best. People are dressed at the best, they act at the best, and it's a family reunion, it's old mates together. So you always get a great atmosphere at a wedding rather than a corporate event, which is quite rushed. Everything seems to be squeezed into 2 hours.
I think the same happened with me and probably with Adam. You start off doing other things and then you fall into a wedding and you're on the wedding and you're like, wow, this is where I want to be. Because everybody's up for a good time. Yeah. If it's a good crowd and... If you can't have fun at a wedding, something wrong, isn't there? So it's generally a good atmosphere, Same with you, because you started with your film coming out of me doing hotels. And when you did the wedding, you were like, I'm home,
I found commercial clients are a lot more demanding into, from video, it was 100%. More boring because I was filming hotel rooms on my own. So I wasn't filming people, which I love to do now, getting in with the crowd and stuff. And then obviously the editing, it was, oh yeah, that's great, but can we change this? Can we do this? Can you put my logo on it? And there was a lot of back and forth, which is to be expected. Wedding clients, as soon as you send them whatever, they're like, oh my God, it's amazing, we love it. And that's it done. So like you say, you just get the people at the very best.
Yeah. I think part of
the happiest.
Your chat there about wedding films is wedding films have changed massively in the past 10, 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my wedding film is 9 hours long. Yeah, honestly,
actually
God.
9
And my
hours?
wife will sit there and watch it, and 6 hours of it is just her aunties doing that. The camera's locked off on the tripod, and it's just her aunts doing that dancing for 6 hours.
Brilliant.
She watches it all the time. I can't even.
Was there any, just sticking on the business side of it, was there any like inspirations when you started out? Was there anyone you looked at and went, I want to do what they're doing?
I always wanted to be a radio DJ, like a radio presenter, but that was just so hard to get into. So
You've got a great face for it as well.
Yeah, I've got a beautiful face for radio. But I used to love listening to Steve Wright and those sort of people.
In weddings?
No, in wedding worlds. No, for me, the inspiration was venues. There was loads of venues that I'd never been in. And I thought to myself, I'm never going to get in those venues unless I'm doing a wedding there. And I had quite a long list of venues that I wanted to do. And once I did them, I was kind of chuffed. Like the Hilton Manchester was a venue I've always wanted to do. And I ended up doing 11 nights there over Christmas, which kind of rinsed the whole idea of, it burnt it out a tiny bit.
Move the goalposts though, right?
Yeah.
Like every time.
But there's loads of venues in like Great John Street was a hotel in Manchester I always wanted to do because it was quite exclusive and, it was quite a private hotel, and ended up doing residency there for 2 years. So
we've all got the bucket list. I've got one of them. Like venues I want to work at. You got one of them?
Yeah, I did.
Downton Abbey's on the Highclere Castle. That's on mine.
I've done a lot of the ones that I've wanted to work at. It's interesting when Andy was saying before, about his marketing of what he does, and a lot of wedding professionals do think, things just happen, but they don't realise things that they've done to get them where they are. Well, so we're going to pull it back a little bit.
Creating that list of venues.
Yeah,
going,
even doing stuff like that.
I want to target these.
And I targeted them, and I got in there, and I did events there, and I'm dead happy. So I've still got one I haven't done, which...
Where is it?
Is it Grantley Hall?
Grantley Hall.
Yeah, nice.
I've seen that on socials. It looks nice.
Lucy Wrights helps, she was saying that she's done some consulting there.
Have you done there yet?
No, I've not worked there.
James is getting married there, one of our industry
getting married
friends. He's
getting married
there next year, this year. So we are going to try and pull it back always to like the business side and the marketing. Okay. So when you decided, right, they're the venues I want to do, I want to get into weddings. Can you remember anything that you did in those early days to start sort of generating those inquiries for those venues?
Not really. I suppose just putting images on your website and kind of hashtags on Instagram. I know that sounds dead simple, but that's just the way I kind of approached it. You like what they do, and if you do a gig at the venue, just don't be a dick and just, that's probably stealing someone else's line, isn't it? But just be as nice as you can when you're there. Don't cause any problems, and that way they'll want to use you more and work with you more. If you turn up and you can set up without being instructed where to go, what time to do it, I think venues appreciate that, and it just makes
just be easy to work with. I think that's always the key, isn't it? Yeah. But what did you do? What did you do to get those first gigs in those? Anything specific? Did you drop them an email? Did you get on the phone with them and say, "Hi, I'm a DJ. I want to get some work"? Or? Dropped
quite a lot of emails and befriended a lot of people who were connected to the venues and kind of got in that way. If I had an image of the venue, I'd share that on social media.
Tag him in.
Was social media around at the early days, like Instagram?
Wow.
It was 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, I think 15 years ago it was.
Because Instagram's
starting going
10 years old or something.
Yeah, but it was Facebook, wasn't it, at the time?
Yeah. When I first started, your main protocol was your website, which, to be honest with you, I've kind of not looked at my website for 6 or 7 years.
I looked at it yesterday just to do research and do my homework.
Well, funny you mentioned that, because there's a picture on my website of me, and I did a wedding a couple of weeks ago, and the bride's mother came up and she went, "Oh, you've put a bit of weight on." I was like, "All right, yeah, nice to meet you."
There's a tip, guys: make sure your website is always up to date. Because I remember this years ago about seeing another singer's website, and I looked at his site. Oh, this guy looks great. And he looked, a young lad. And when I met him, he was about 30 years old. I was like, "Are you the same person?"
I personally think at the minute, Instagram is where people will look for anything. Be it a wedding DJ, a builder for their house. They'll start on Instagram, and then if you've got a website, they'll just use the website as a kind of a reference, really. But
we were saying this on the last episode with Lucy. no matter where people have, because most of it comes through Instagram at the minute.
I think
but
so.
They might have heard about you elsewhere, and they've just used Instagram as the search engine. It's not that they found you on Instagram. They might have been recommended, but then of course the default is to search on Instagram.
It's a validation tool as well, isn't it?
It used to be search on Google. Now it's search on Instagram.
Yeah.
Do you guys have on your contact form, like at the bottom, where did you hear about me?
I do. Yeah.
What
But a lot of the time it's saying Instagram now. Yeah.
Same as.
Yeah.
I use that as a follow-on question when I get an inquiry, just to kind of open up a bit of chat. So hopefully I use that so I can get a reply from them.
Yeah, always reply to an inquiry with questions so that they're compelled to then reply to that.
Back to your original question about how I did it years ago, it was a bit more kind of knocking on doors, if you like, going into venues and asking them, did they have this and did they have that? Would they be interested? Which I wasn't a big fan of doing, but you had to do it.
Well, it worked, though, didn't it?
Yeah,
it's like
It's what you
when you've come into the
industry,
socials was there. It was already there to use. When I was started, probably similar to 17, 18 years ago, I used to drive to the venues. I used to take my CDs and my brochures and say, "Oh, hi, I'm just dropping in. My name's Howard."
Used to do it all the time. Yeah, go in, knock on doors, ask for the venue manager, and just try and.
The beauty now, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. I still think that is a brilliant thing to do.
Was there any like standout moments that you did something and went, "Oh, wow, it's blowing up. That worked massive." And
I think it was one of the first times I approached Great John Street Hotel to ask them could I use it for a networking thing venue. And they said yes, and they were quite excited that because they were only starting out doing weddings as well, because it was quite a corporate hotel, and they agreed to let me have the room, and that's when the whole networking started. And that kind of, for me, once I got that gig, and they saw who was at that networking event, there was only
I was there, man.
Yeah,
that was the very first one.
There was only 12 people at it, 12 people.
Oh, it was fantastic.
But the people in that room were quite big hitters. I mean, Howard was there.
Yeah.
There was other people there I won't mention, and that kind of made the hotel go, wow, this guy kind of knows something.
I think I've seen pictures of the early ones that you did, and those early people that were at it, you and Johnny and
there was Johnny, there was Paul, there was Gav.
They're now like the people that the gold standard. When I was coming into it, these were the top guys and they all kind of came from your little clique of networking things that you did.
Yeah.
So you basically assembled the Avengers, is what you're saying.
Pretty much so, yeah. Sold the franchise, and here I am, yeah.
This is what Andy really excels in, is the networking side of it. Probably not a bad time to shoehorn that in.
Let's get into that. How you said there that you went to Great John Street with this first networking thing. Like, what made you decide?
Why did you do that? I know there's obviously more reasons behind it.
There's two kind of reasons. One of the reasons is I do like socialising. A lot of my friends are in the construction world, so when I go for a drink with them, they're talking about bricks and drainage, and I'm talking about weddings, and it's not a very interesting conversation. But so I like to socialise with like-minded business types, so at least you can bounce off them and get ideas. The other thing we started at Great John Street was to try and further my career. I'm not going to lie to you, it was invite all these people to Great John Street. We can all have a bit of a catch up and tag each other on Facebook and Instagram in the early days, and hopefully that would have got me more work, which it did at the start.
But you consciously went, there's no networking things, I'm going to come up with my own.
Yeah, and it was a very small one. It was only 9 of us. I just wanted to try and get my name out there, and I'd only known you a year or two, I think, before that, and Paul Gard was there, Draper, Jeff Wood, and a few caterers, and it literally was just, let's have a drink together, because every time we finish a gig, we always say, oh, we'll have a drink, and we'll have a catch up. It never happens.
You never do.
It never happens. And I thought, well, let's make it happen. Then that just snowballed into...
So after that first one, did you just go, oh, let's do this again next year?
Yeah, and I put a few feelers out, and people said, oh, can we come? I heard you were out with such and such. Yeah. Can we come? Then the next one we had was a big sit-down meal for 120 people at the Bella Pot.
That was my first one.
Was it your first one?
Yeah.
And that was a great night, because we had a meal, and then we had music, we had Ellie Sax and a DJ, and it was good.
It's become the go-to event in the wedding industry in the North,
just for
isn't
context for everyone listening and watching, nowadays, to fast forward, because that Bella Pot was my first one back in 17, 18, whatever, and we're in 2023 now, and literally, like, all year, oh God, and especially when you get to the back end of wedding season, everyone that I meet is like, oh, the Christmas party's coming up, and it's known as the Andy Murphy Do, and it's a big annual event
And they were
it's
good.
it's our Christmas party.
Yeah, they were good. I'm not just saying that because it's me that organised, but they
And
were
you
good.
hundreds of people coming to
Yeah.
them, and everyone talks about it, and therefore everyone's talking about you because you're the one that's orchestrated it.
It's very clever the way you've done it, because it's not like it's a networking event or a business event.
It's
a totally relaxed party with
Yeah.
your pals, but they're all wedding professionals who all kind of recommend each other. It's like all those people that come to your party, if they get asked for a DJ, you're in the mind all the time because you do the big events. Everybody knows you.
It's a trust thing as well. Everyone trusts each other. Everyone
course.
knows each other's capabilities. And as you said there, the word DJ is mentioned. They almost think me straight away, which is good. If they hear singer, your name will be used. Video, it's just names you can trust in a big pot, and there's no hidden agenda.
Yeah, but I think it's because you arrange these things and everyone loves them and appreciates them so much. If someone said to me, do you know a wedding DJ, Andy Murphy, it's first name on my lips, because
You're in people's minds because of what you do.
it's not just because we work together and I know you, it's because I know you that well because of all this stuff you've done. And I think for a lot
That's
of
nice to
people
know,
as well, it'll be like, oh, Andy's so great for the industry. I want to give back. I want to recommend him.
But you were all friends at that event, though. It's everybody seems like the friends, which is
And you say
another
it's a trust
beauty
thing.
of it.
It's the way that the events are run, because they're so casual, and it's not like a networking where you turn up with business cards and everyone's dead formal. And
I think there's a no business card rule, isn't there?
Yeah.
we had a complaint
No
one
business
year.
card rule.
We had a
and because
complaint one year.
everyone chats and just has a good time, and as soon as you arrive, you're like, oh, this is just a load of mates getting drunk.
That's what it is.
So then
Yeah.
that's where the trust comes in, because with the people that you meet, you realise that they're not like-minded people, and you can have a laugh together. And then if you're having a laugh together, then of course you're going to recommend them. So I liked hanging out with him,
Yeah.
so I'm sure I'll like working with him.
I think somebody asked me at the start years ago, who actually came into the industry, he got an invite for Andy's do. He messaged me separately, said, do I need to bring my business cards and do I need to talk about my presentation? I was like, no, it is literally a piss up with mates.
That's all it is.
Have you ever had a go at anyone for trying to be?
One year, a lady did complain that there wasn't enough networking at it, and there wasn't any business cards, and the music was too loud that she couldn't have a conversation with.
Oh, so she turned up hoping to be able to actually network.
Each networking event we do, there is a certain percentage of people who come to it who are quite new to the industry. And I think they do actually come to it thinking, right,
I want to meet people,
which is great.
Fair enough, yeah.
But they're still coming to meeting people, but not in the way they thought. And the meeting, people have a drink and they let the guard down. It's not a networking event. It's a piss up.
Yeah, it's becoming known in the industry with other people. It's selling yourself without selling yourself. It's a bit like when I meet my clients, and you probably do the same. You're not trying to sell what you do. You're just talking about the wedding.
I think just being in the room with them other suppliers is enough selling point, if you like.
Yeah,
You were at the gig last night, right? You're the video guy.
Yeah.
Amazing. You're in the group sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you get curious, don't you? Who's that guy? Oh, I'm going to have a chat to him, see what he does.
They're they're open, aren't they? You just invite everyone.
We get a group on Facebook and we get professional pictures done, and you can all see each other, and all the pictures are tagged, and you can all start following each other.
Just attend. When I started attending them, you got me into the first one, and I came.
That was a good one. I have one of my favourites.
You need to get on this. But the amount of people I've met at those events that have become real good friends that now get me work as well, which is added bonus. Like, it's been huge just for anyone that's listening as a supplier, whether they're new or not, just to attend these things.
Oh, imagine all the messages you're going to get now. Can I come on your event?
It's not a problem. The more the merrier. I mean,
just attending them is great for business.
Yeah.
But you've gone next level and hosted them, which your network's huge. You've got hundreds of people that know about you.
Well, we've got another one coming up next week, and hopefully you boys will be there next Wednesday.
Of course,
we are going to be there.
I'd like
Which is the most laid back
I'll be
one
there.
out of all of them. There's no music, there's no band.
I'll be there.
It's just people on a terrace in Manchester in the afternoon, which changes the whole dynamic.
Dangerous.
Of it. Yeah.
Few drinks, few chats.
Afternoon session.
Starting
And it
at
is,
12
that's
12
all
PM
it is.
drinking.
It's not a book launch, it's not selling anything. It's just people sat round from a like-minded business world, sharing stories, having a bit of crack, letting the guard down as well, because we're all a bit stuck.
It's brilliant what you do, and it's obviously because we're all in the northwest and it's based around Manchester normally. But there's a lot of other areas in the UK that I've been to, and I know Damien at Twitter has said this. Everyone in the northwest all seems to be really like pally and know each other more so than any other regions, and I think that's solely down to you. I do, because Damien said to me,
it's a big part of
he
that,
said the northwest of any region that they do the awards at every year, the Northwest always seem to get on the best as a community. And
we embrace the awards in the Northwest. I mean, if you go to any Northwest, the Wedding Industry Awards Northwest parties, or the awards night, they are louder. People cheer more, and
but I think
back hugging each other, even
we all know each other so well because we see each other every year at this do that you arrange.
I remember going to the one recently at was it Crowwood?
Crowwood.
Yeah, and all the videographers who were up for an award were stood next to each other with their arms around each other.
Cheering each other on.
It's just that's just madness. You never see
secretly
that
hoping that
hoping
no one else
win.
gets it.
And
I think we're lucky, aren't we, up here? We've got such a great crew of suppliers.
Yeah, but I do think it's because of these parties that every year that we all are so pallied together.
I think it's a big part of it, yeah, definitely.
See, when we went to London for the Wedding Awards in London, and as they're announcing the different areas, you could tell a mile away where the Northwest people were. They were screaming in the corner, whereas...
Maybe it's just like a northern kind of...
I think it's...
but you know, you think of all the different regions around the UK, and we just stand out, don't we?
Yeah, I think everyone
not to alienate other people in the UK.
Not at all.
No, not at all. But
Southwest, we love you.
You know,
I think we just got to be fun.
Hopefully, there'll be someone listening that will go, do you know what? That my region needs something like that. I'll arrange it, and if it starts something else, then that's great.
Definitely.
Is there any negatives that have come about from doing it? There's obviously a lot of responsibility because people now expect it every year.
The only negative
I hope he's doing it. And
the only negative that comes from it is the pressure of the next one, because the next one has to be as good or if not better, and that's always a worry of mine. But I wouldn't say it's a negative. It's just me being a bit of a perfectionist, really. A perfectionist.
I'm trying to dig because I know that there's been times where people haven't been invited and seen their arse a little bit. And
yes, people have seen the backside because it's not for everybody. And as I said, people come to it thinking there's going to be a load of Sony cameras on the table. We're going to walk through and work out how to use these cameras, and there's going to be a stationary corner. It's not.
It's not a workshop, is it?
No, when people see their arse, that they've maybe travelled and come to it and then walk in, and it's just people getting drunk. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
It's just the best networking event ever.
We've talked about this loads. The wedding industry, that is the way to market yourself.
That is the way to market yourself.
It's not like, I mean, I don't know. I might,
everybody hates the fact, or they hate the feeling of being sold to.
Nail on the head.
So that is just
So
they don't realise if they're expecting to tout themselves or give cards out. They don't realise the power that your events have because it is so laid back. There's nothing selly about it. But if they get in that room and go and have a banter with everybody and have a crack, they're going to get to know those people. Then they'll become part of that network, and they will get the recommendations.
Just let it happen because it will. Trust that it'll work.
Exactly. Because it's just done differently than normal.
We had a few videographers at the last one who've just started out, and they were dead nervous and like, we're not sure whether we should come. And I saw them walking in, and they're walking in like this, and just sat in the corner. An hour later, they're on top of someone's shoulders, doing shots, and it's just
but what a great way to get yourself in and meet people, and
that's the whole idea of it. It's just
because then next time someone will be like, that guy, like they'll look at each other up on Instagram, and all of a sudden you get recommended because it's like, he was we had a right laugh last week.
Yeah.
And there's always a story, isn't there? And then the stories get talked about, and you kind of become famous within the circles, don't you?
This isn't helpful as an educational
there's a couple of stories without what's
podcast.
happening at the networking events. We can't even go into that on this podcast.
Oh wow!
It's not helpful as an educational business podcast. But is there any any cool stories that we can dish the dirt on? Spill the tea that don't involve myself.
No, really. There's one where there was a photographer who was found in the toilet bench pressing everybody who came in. and that was a female photographer, and she just lifted. Oh,
I know who that is.
Oh my god! And there's pictures out there. But
I might have even been bench pressed myself at one point.
No names.
Apart from that, it's normally good, clean fun, really, most of the time. I don't think there's any massive dramas come out of it that we're allowed to talk about.
How many stories do I know from things that have happened at the network?
Oh, do you? Well, see, I don't see them because I'm kind of front of house.
They're good fun. There's never any like bad stuff.
We'll chat about that later.
They're just fun stories.
I'm intrigued.
So, I just want to ask about the network. Sorry, the sort of marketing side of things. So obviously, when you started out, you're approaching venues. You got in there. You created your awesome networking event, which is brilliant. Is that where you get most of your inquiries from then? Do you think it's from recommendations from the people that you've created, from the network that you've created doing these events? Is that where most of your bookings come, or give me a bit of insight?
I think it's a mixture of the networking events obviously has gained a lot of people's trust in me, and they trust me to do a good job, and then they see what I do and maybe they pass my name on. A lot of it as well is from venues. I'm quite good at having a good relationship with a venue, and they'll put me on their recommended suppliers list. I do a lot of videos on my Instagram, which is
you're good on Insta.
Frowned upon sometimes by other videographers, which I get the point of that. But what I did years ago was ask loads of videographers to take a few clips of me and then send it to me, and they never do because I'm not the priority. The priority is the couple.
I'm guilty of that because you just.
Why would you? Why would you?
Nice, I say to people, just message me anytime and chase me if I don't get back to you, because it's easy to forget.
And it never worked.
Yeah.
And I totally get it. So I started to make my own little videos, try and keep them short and sweet, and
just because as a videographer, I want to drill this point in. So you're making videos on your social media like reels and stuff,
just reels,
off your own phone and doing your own off your own bats.
Yeah.
And videographers are getting upset about it.
Sometimes, yeah, I've heard a few.
I just don't agree with that. Like,
I get it, and I do feel guilty sometimes. So
but it's not fair. We don't have a monopoly as a videographer. We don't have a monopoly on like, oh, that's my wedding, you can't share video. That would be like a photographer getting upset because Howard posted a picture off his phone. Like, it's not fair, is it? It's not fair.
I get it, but it's.
And you're going to rub people wrong. Do you not think, oh, I'm not? Like, I don't want to work with that idiot.
If there's a professional videographer on the wedding, I won't really do much of a film.
Thing is, I've known this. You're not being successful enough if you're not pissing anybody off.
I like that.
But just do your own thing, like, because obviously I'm guessing that the issue they've got is you're going to put that on social media the next day, and might dilute the kind of reaction from their professional video that will come weeks later.
In my mindset, what I tend to do is make a film, and if that film isn't up on social media the next day before that couple have left the venue, I don't think it's worth putting up. That's only in my head, because I think they get up in the morning, everyone's a bit hungover, they're having breakfast, and then they get this thing on Instagram, and that must
more
be great.
That's
more
a great
engagement.
Business thing to do though, because people they'll react to it, and they've still got all their guests waking up the next morning. So whilst they're all still together, look at this that my DJ's done.
So in my head, if I don't put that up the next day, I'll not put up anywhere.
I think that is. I still think. And that's if you've not put it up for a few days, I'd still do that. But I think that speed is key.
The longer you leave it, the less impact it's got.
And I understand videographers and photographers don't really supply next day edits of the wedding.
You can. I mean, I do sometimes, and if I've been proactive enough, it's.
So I don't think it's the video itself which annoys some videographers. I think it's the fact that I put it up so quickly. But if I don't do it the next morning, I won't do it. That's just me being weird.
Yeah.
From a defensive photographer videographer viewpoint, they're thinking it's gonna, if they've done that the next day and everyone's liking and commenting on that, like when I put mine up in a couple of weeks, it's not gonna have the same impact.
Well,
but I just think that's the wrong attitude.
I also think they should see that and think, wow, that's got loads of engagement, I can't wait to get mine up.
Yeah,
because I might get the
plus
same
the comparison from my
it's nothing.
32-second crappy iPhone thing
it's a different,
to their.
I do it every wedding. I always put a little video up, and like I say, I try and get it out the next day, the day after. I did it from Saturday's when I think I put a video up either Sunday night or Monday morning. 3 inquiries same day, and people at that wedding because the bride and groom share it around.
You've got to promote yourself somehow.
Exactly, and it's all's fair enough.
And that's what Instagram is about: is videos and images.
If you get upset about it, it's not going to alienating you and saying no, I don't, and making you feel like I don't want to do it because I don't want to upset the videographer. That's going to do more harm to the videographer than just not being bothered about it, because you're just annoying people. Like, you're not going to want to work with them, are you?
You're not going to recommend that videographer who's giving you a bit of shit about something, are you?
Not really.
That's why you're going back to don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Let people do their thing. Yeah. What's it? Any
and
concern
also,
of you?
As a photographer or videographer, why don't they pull their finger out and get some up the next morning if they're that bothered?
Well, I know the answer to that one because I rock up at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, where they've been there all day, and the last.
No, I mean, I'm guilty. I don't post anything the next day because I'm knackered the next day, and I just want to chill out and back up all the footage, and.
But I think that's the main gripe, is the fact that I put it up so quickly. But that's just.
But it works. It gets you bookings.
Like I said, if they're sat over breakfast and they're having breakfast the next day and there's a video of them,
it's a good tip. It's a good tip for any.
They all share it and they're all passing it round.
Videos where it's at now, Reels and stuff.
I mean, that works for every supplier.
Got to be doing it. Yeah.
Reels is so important. Well, it is at the minute until Instagram changes its mind again.
This is a segue, but I saw for the first time the other day a wedding content creator. So a wedding that I'd seen on Instagram of, I don't know, the photographer had posted something, and the bride had shared a reel from there, and they'd hired a wedding content creator. So it's not a photographer, it's not a videographer. They had both of those.
Wow.
And they also had a third person who was just doing reels all day on the phone. And and so I looked this Instagram profile up, and this person is offering content creation on your day. So they'll turn up and they'll make X amount of reels and little video clips,
and they post it to your account
and
as
pictures, and then they give you all that content afterwards, so that you can then post.
Wow!
So it's for people that are influencers and people that are like Instagram and like social media, it creates them a load of content from the wedding that they can then share.
What a great little separate side industry.
But I'm just like, is that going to become a thing? That's scary. Like,
I don't think it is scary.
It makes sense.
I just think it's an extra.
Yeah.
For those people who really want to show
clever,
off the wedding, those showy type of couples.
Yeah, because we're getting into a generation now where everyone wants to post stuff on social media.
Do you ever see brides? Well, you might see it more than Howard. Brides at weddings with their own phone.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Taking selfies.
Oh, yeah, I do,
I've had brides that have been posting on Instagram on their wedding day. And it's like,
I never see that.
It does annoy me a little bit. I think you should have a little bit of that, but not too much.
I can think of one wedding in particular last year where the bride is big on Instagram and has a following. And I remember I chatted to her about it, and her followers they're expecting it, so she feels an obligation to share that for all her fans, if you will. So she was posting on and I because of who the bride was, I made sure that I posted something because I never do this, as we've said, but that night when I got home, I stayed up till 2 a.m, edited a little film and posted it the next morning, and they were at breakfast. And
what a great idea.
But because of her platform, I knew that it would blow up. So it was the one time I did do it, and I had about 40 inquiries within a week.
Wow, amazing.
Because it literally had about 60,000 views or something, just because of who the bride was.
Was she famous or?
Instagram famous,
right. Instagram famous, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that was massively beneficial. And yeah, I think I got about 5 or 6 bookings from those 40 odd inquiries. So
simple things
worth doing.
Simple, them little videos, honestly. People.
And the shorter they are, sometimes the better. If it's just bang, bang, bang with a bit of information in it.
A minute. Yeah, we know the power, the free advertising through Instagram and Facebook and doing the little videos and networking, get inquiries that way. But have you ever done any paid advertising? And if you have,
do you mean on socials?
Has it worked? Yeah, on social or any other
magazines, anything like that.
I think on Instagram,
radio back in the day,
Instagram and Facebook. In the past, I've done where you boost the post, but for me, that's just always been a numbers game. You pay 40, 50 quid to get it boosted, but all it gets you is more likes. It doesn't necessarily generate any more inquiries. That's the way I saw it. So I don't do that anymore. I don't boost them. If you tag the bride, tag the venue, tag a few other guests. Which is another thing I do on the build up to a wedding is I'll get the bride's Instagram, follow some of her mates, and by the time you get to the wedding, oh, you're the DJ guy. And your mates then on the day.
I know a lot of. I've said this to some like videographers that follow me and to some suppliers that have gone, I don't want to friend the bride. I feel a bit creepy, we don't actually know her. I don't want to send her a friend request. I'd feel a bit like I wouldn't want her to think I'm being creepy.
That's weird.
But it's. But if they booked you for the wedding, the first thing I do is go and follow them on Instagram afterwards. And I say this when they book, and I send them they've paid the deposit and all that, and I go, right, well, let's here's my links, socials, follow, and so you can follow what I'm doing. I'll follow you, and then I'll catch up with you in a few months. So I don't think it's.
I friend some of the friends as well.
Yeah,
but only after the wedding, never before, because that would.
Because then you can tag them all.
But when it's after the wedding,
the friends
you got to know
of the bride and groom might be a bit much before the wedding.
No,
only after.
I do before the wedding because if you watch their Instagram stories 4 or 5 weeks before the wedding.
Yeah.
You can see the hen do's,
yeah,
the stag
okay, I get
do's.
that.
Yeah.
And you can hear the music they've been playing on the hen do's, and you can see the big inflatable things they've got on the hen do's.
Makes sense for you to learn who they are musically.
You can mention that on the
maybe.
day, and they really go, "How does he know that?" And it's all a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw it on
But
the hen
it's,
do.
it's,
Yeah.
it's just a great tip, because I know there'll be people listening that will go, "Oh, I wouldn't." I always felt weird about doing that, but
Well, the worst they could do
it's
is
a good
just,
tip.
The worst they could do is just not follow you back. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not end of the world, like.
And people do get a bit hung up with things, don't they? They get worried about stuff. And you know what? Just do stuff. And if it doesn't work, don't do it again. I always think, do stuff and apologise after.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's not weird, though.
It's not weird. I don't think it's
ask
weird.
permission.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Yeah, I don't think it's massively weird. I think it's just, as you said, if you're doing their wedding, you're going to see them and meet them on the day anyway. So
yeah.
Just going back to Instagram, you not just tagging people in now, you can actually invite them as a collaborator. So I say this to my brides.
genius.
Have you done this?
Yes.
Invite the bride. I always say, I'll post, because she goes, "Oh, can I post this on Insta, the little video?" And I'll go, "Well, tell you what, if you don't mind, I'll post it and I'll invite you as a collaborator. So will you accept it, and it'll go on your feed as normal, but it's also then I'm getting, so it comes up on her feed and on
your
mine.
feed. It's brilliant.
And all the comments and engagement and stuff is going on mine.
I think it needs a bit more of description, because that sounds.
The only
it sounds quite new.
It's been around for a while. And
Yeah.
The only annoying
now-
thing about that is you can't do it after you've posted the video. So once you've
I
posted
know,
the video,
I know,
it's so annoying.
It's really annoying.
Oh, you have to do it while you're in the process of posting it.
Yeah.
And so for
You
anyone
take a gamble of inviting the venue to be a collaborator. That's gold.
Yeah.
If the venue accept, amazing, but they very rarely accept.
Well,
Right, let's take a step back and just explain this for the benefit of the viewers and the listeners.
for anyone that doesn't know about this feature on Instagram, you can, when you're making a post or a reel or whatever, you can, when it says add tags, and you can tag all the suppliers, the couple, there's another tab to the right that says invite as collaborator or something like that.
Yeah,
along
invite
those lines.
collaborator, yeah.
So you do that, and then you invite, but you can only invite one person, as a
yeah.
collaborator. So you could go venue and tag the venue, because they'll love that. But I normally go for bride, because I want all her friends to see it.
Yeah.
So you invite her as a collaborator, and then then she accepts, and then it'll go to her wall. But it will be, when people see it on her wall, it'll have my name on it.
That's right.
And so
It's brilliant. It is really good.
all her friends. If the bride posted one of my videos, all her friends would see it, great, but I wouldn't be able to see what all those comments are unless I went on the bride's wall and found it. And
So it goes on yours and whoever you've invited.
So I want all the engagement.
It's like the two of you have posted it together.
Yeah, so all the engagements going
Almost like
to
a
my.
collaboration.
So all the engagements go into my page as well, so it's easy for them to then see who I am and follow me and da-da-da.
I think this is one of the biggest takeaways from
the
this.
annoying
from this
thing that
interview, to be
Instagram's
honest.
doing with it is that you can only have one collaborator, and you can't do it after the fact.
That's
You've got to do
annoying.
it as you're posting. So what the issue I have with it sometimes is if I try and do it and invite the bride as collaborator, and they've not seen it within the first half an hour, and then later on in the day they're like, it just seems to, I don't know, like it fizzles out. I don't know if it's a temporary thing where if they've not accepted it within so long, it disappears.
I've noticed that as well, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
quite strange.
I always text the bride and go, right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to invite you as a collaborator. You need to accept it, because not all the brides will know what that means anyway. Make sure you accept it, and then it'll go on your wall. So they go, right, okay. So that them, and then I do it. I post it there and then, right, I've sent it. Please accept. Because otherwise, I don't know if it's a time limited thing.
Maybe,
I've
yeah.
noticed that if I've tried to invite them and they've not got back to it all day, it just doesn't happen for some reason.
Instagram can be a bit funny like that.
And they would accept that, wouldn't they? Because they want people to see the wedding.
Yeah.
But plus, if you say you posted a video and you didn't collaborate with somebody, you just posted it, and then you thought, actually, I'm going to invite someone to be on that, and then deleted the video and then put it back up and invited a collaborator. Apparently, Instagram knows you're doing that, doesn't like it, and brings your numbers down.
Oh, is that correct?
Doesn't push it as much.
It doesn't push it as much because it knows
to do it at the start.
because it knows it's the same video.
Yeah.
Which is so. I mean, Instagram is just.
Well, the algorithm's getting so sophisticated.
Oh my word! Well, yeah, the algorithm now suggests if you make a comment on someone's picture and it's less than 4 words, you're not going to get anywhere with it.
Yeah, so when people just fire
Like
a
a
quick
smiley
emoji,
face. It's to get rid of that, which is
Yeah.
understandable. Then you've got to think of 4 superlatives all
what
the
people
time.
say with Instagram now is this it's not just engaging, liking and posting a little, like it's quality engagement. So
Yeah.
actually commenting with something substantial rather than just going, yeah, fire emoji.
Amazing. Yeah. Which I'm guilty of doing that.
Which we're all
sometimes.
guilty because,
Yeah.
and the reason we do it is because it's easier and you're just trying to like comment on as many things as possible. I'll just give that person an emoji. I like that one. But it's not the same as
now-
actually quality
Yeah,
commenting
now
and
they're
replying.
also saying a minimum or a maximum, I think it is, maximum of 4 hashtags. Whereas
At the bottom of your post.
back in the day, I would
'cause if you do
hashtag,
30 or something.
I would hashtag greenhouse, sky, just anything. And,
Hashtag day.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
I used to hashtag. Well, apparently now I think
wedding.
it's 4 is the magic kind of number.
Is
But
that right?
Changing all the time, isn't
I'll
it?
tell you what,
every
there's
day.
2 really good takeaways from it. It's definitely inviting collaborators and definitely only 4 hashtags.
your hashtags need to mean. I always used to put wedding DJ.
It's got to be relevant to the
UK
post.
wedding DJ. Apparently, it doesn't like them. It needs something more unique,
Okay.
like I don't know, wedding DJ inspo or rustic wedding
See,
DJ or
to
something.
some, this will be like old news because it's not a brand new feature, but
No.
I'm not great on Instagram, so that's the limit of my kind of
Well,
advice and tips.
because we do all sorts, don't we, which all come together.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a little break now, Adam. But when we come back, I definitely want to talk about the awards because that's where
Yeah.
me and Andy first met.
You're saying this like
And-
we're going to an ad break and you're actually going to tee it up.
And the importance of the awards. And I know Andy's a big
So anyway,
advocate
here's
for
the
it.
news where you are.
Right, so me and Adam, and certainly me, I've always been a big advocate of going in for wedding awards. And
One in particular as well.
we favour the TWIA, which is the Wedding Industry Awards. It's a great for me. It's the most unbiased. All your brides and grooms have to vote for you, and it's a great thing. And we know it's great for marketing. It's great for business because it gives you that little badge of honour, if you like, and gives you potential bookers confidence that you're a professional, you're good at what you do. And you've been in it ever since you came into the wedding world. I always said get in the awards. Andy's been doing it for a long time as well, the TWIA, and he won it 8 times.
Most decorated winner,
the most decorated winner in the wedding industry.
I would say I'm the most decorated. Yeah, I was like a dog with a bone, and I wouldn't give up until I won the national. So I won 8 Northwest.
You win your region,
Yeah.
Northwest, whichever, and
So I
then
won
you
that
entered
8
into
times, and then won the national, which was one of the proudest moments of my career, I would say. Yeah, because it's one of the best awards. The way it's structured, the way the judges judge you and pick up on what you do. They look at your website, they look at your ethos, they look at everything.
And the judges are other wedding DJs and professionals
wedding
and stuff,
DJs,
so
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
that affirmation amongst your peers as well, isn't it, I suppose?
Some of the biggest DJs in the country, some DJs who I've looked up to, are voting for you and judging, which is brilliant.
How has it benefited your business? What are the pluses with going in the
before
awards?
that even, why, like, what made you enter in the first place? Why?
I was at Bartle Hall in Preston, and I was
Near-
early.
near me,
I was and on the desk at the front it just said, "We have just won the Wedding Industry Award Venue of the Year." Got talking to the girl, said,
Okay.
what's all this about? She went, "Oh, it's this, it's that." Googled it, and I thought,
Give it a crack.
I'll have some of that. And I'm so glad I entered it because it's changed my.
Did you win that first year?
No,
Did
because I
win
was
that?
with you, I think, wasn't I? Or
Did I
was
win
that the
first
second?
year? Do you know what?
Region.
I did. I won the regionals.
You won the region.
Because that's when we went to London. That's when I first met you.
That's correct.
In the foyer of the hotel where the awards were. I'll never forget it.
Bloomsbury Ballrooms.
That's it, yeah. And
Never
I
forget
said-
that moment,
I
will
said,
you?
"Are you Howard Wing?" And he went, "Are you Andy Murphy?" I went, "Yeah," and that was it.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We've been
But
good
yeah,
pals ever since.
We met
do, you
there.
want, do you want me to leave?
There's another story, but we can't say that.
And
So
I
go
never
on,
look back. I
how's
never
it,
look
how's
back.
it benefited?
How's it
and
benefited
in what
your
way?
business?
oh
Like,
my word.
what areas?
It's brand awareness, name awareness, because once you're involved with them, you go into a directory of wedding suppliers, which a lot of people do believe in.
That's good for SEO, that as well.
The traffic they get for their website is phenomenal as well. Just the recognition, it is a badge of honour, and it's a stamp of approval. If a bride and groom go on your website or your Instagram and they see your name associated with the Wedding Industry Awards, it can only do good for your business. It's the networking side of it. So you go to the regionals and you go to the nationals, especially the nationals. Some of the people you meet there, you'd never meet them in any other walk of life, really.
We were saying this off air, and it ties into the last episode with Lucy, because if you win the national, especially not so much the region, but the national, all of a sudden, I've not won the national, but I know people that have, and planners come out of everywhere and ask to work with you once you've won. Wedding planners must look at the national winners and go, right, they're obviously they've won.
Yeah.
Out of everyone, they're the best. We'll
It was like Leanne Perrins with me. So one of the decisions for her own wedding, she booked all the winners, the national winners for her wedding. The photographer.
Oh, so the bride booked every winner from every.
She booked the video. He was one of the judges actually. She booked me. Pretty. That's what she kind of used.
That's brilliant.
It's like, well, she just had faith straight away that they're going to be very good at what they do.
One of the other things I loved about the Wedding Industry Awards was the feedback you get. So when couples vote for you, they have to fill out like a comments section.
That is the one.
And sometimes you can see websites and it'll have what our clients say about me and blah blah, and they're all very generic, aren't they?
Whereas quite often some of them can be false.
Yeah.
As well. So.
But the feedback ones on the Wedding Industry Awards, they're always very heartfelt, and you can almost tell which couple it was from what they say in their comments. I remember that wedding, remember that, blah blah blah. So, yeah, all round.
And you can use that testimonials and
all over my website. Yeah, all over.
But also, it's lovely.
Yeah.
To sit and read.
It
them
is.
all.
Yeah. So the key benefits then: networking, the testimonials you get, the badge of honour on your website.
You go into
the
the
SEO,
directory.
Do you think it's got your bookings then over the years?
100%. Oh yeah.
Repeat winning and stuff. Once you've won it, did it help to then re-enter and keep winning it? And
yeah, like I said, I kept going for it until I won the nationals, and then when you win the national, you automatically become a judge. So now, from standing at the reception,
I don't think you automatically become a judge.
Oh, do you not?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't know if it's automatic, but
Right, okay.
Well, you've been chosen as a judge.
Yeah, so from standing at Bartle Hall thinking, "Ooh, I wonder what that award is," to now being a judge, it's
crazy.
It's brilliant.
It is something
really
to be proud of. I'm curious about this. Is there any difference between? So obviously you can say you've won it and that looks great to brides, but then being a judge, does that change anything or?
I don't think you get as much
of
kudos, maybe because clients aren't really impressed.
Because it's not like, oh, I've won this award now. It's now I'm a judge, and you can still share that badge and say I've been selected as a judge.
If you visit my website, there is no way you ain't going to see that I've won an award. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And being a judge, I think, is not ready for clients. I think other wedding suppliers would kind of go, "Oh, you're a wedding industry award judge," but so not so much clients, but it's still all over my website that I've won it. 8 times.
I think the judge bit works, to be honest.
I definitely think more with suppliers, because obviously you can say I've won it and I'm a judge, and then for suppliers it's like, oh well, if they're the judges, then definitely want to be in their network.
Because who do you want to hire? Do you want to hire the student or the teacher?
Yeah.
Interesting. Mr. Wingman.
Plus, listen, as we know, the awards, the events are amazing, and it's just like a big networking event. Just to piss up at the same time.
Even the regional events,
they're great.
The people who organise it, Damien and
Anna
and his wife, they put on a hell of a show. There's DJs on, there's a band on, they have food, it's free drink as you walk in. It's just a huge event, and it's brilliant. And fair play to them, they do a great job.
They do, and it's sometimes it gets a bit poo-pooed by some
they can
industry
be
peers and a bit controversial.
We'll always stick up for them because they are great for business.
You can talk about that to your blue in the face. There's always going to be people who don't like awards, which is fine.
I think you always need to look at the positive in everything. And there's so many more positives. In fact, there's no negatives in going in at
There's
all.
no need to knock anyone for doing them, because it's a marketing strategy at the end of the day. Whether you agree with it or not, you don't have to get upset that someone else is doing it.
It's not for you, it's for the people that might want to book me.
Just off the top of my head, I think last year's the Wedding Industry Awards, only because I'm a judge, I noted this number somewhere. I think all the categories combined received something like 225,000 votes. Which, you know what I mean? That's ridiculous.
For our little industry.
Yeah,
it's massive,
for our little
isn't it?
tiny little wedding industry, I think that's a massive amount of people.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And if that's website traffic, Instagram traffic, and you're only getting 1% of that, it's got to be a winner, hasn't it?
Yeah,
it's a good thing. So enter awards, guys.
Yeah, do it. Why
They're
not?
always beneficial.
Why wouldn't you? What have you got to lose?
So
we are.
For anyone who wants to get into the wedding industry as a DJ, or just from a business point of view, anyone starting out, is the one thing that you would advise for someone with all your experience, whether it's obviously networking awards, or it can be something we've not talked about? Is there one thing that you would do?
I would say try and get into a few groups on Facebook. There's loads of groups on Facebook. Mobile DJ Network, which is a group of about 30,000 DJs. jump in there, ask a few questions about equipment, maybe try and get yourselves on a guest list for a networking event, or just start following other people in the wedding world and asking questions, and just be passionate about it, really. I think the wedding industry as well, you have to go into it full time, I think.
To really make it work.
I think so. I mean, if you're working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and then you're doing weddings at the week, you're just going to burn yourself out.
Yeah.
You have to probably start that way, though, don't you? At the
I think
start?
so, yeah.
You'll have a lot of burnt out work.
There's got to be a period of financial reliance on your job.
Yeah, and that's a big
building.
leap. I know you left from being was it a teacher?
Well, I mean, I was lucky in that sense because I was still living at home and I didn't have much outgoings and stuff. So I could, rather than getting a job, I just went into this and just stayed at home an extra year or two.
You've got to enjoy it as well.
But for someone who's, in the 40s with 2 kids and a mortgage and has a decent job but wants to do weddings, that's a different.
Yeah.
I can imagine it's really hard,
Yeah, it's a tough thing to do.
But like you say, you've got to be enjoying it because you're not going to commit the amount of extra hours after your day job unless you're actually really invested in wanting.
It feel more than a job, doesn't it?
You have to enjoy it. You have to want to do it enough.
Yeah. What's your average? Like, if you're doing a wedding, how many hours are you doing at a wedding? It's got to be 12 hours, 13 hours, is it?
At a wedding, yeah.
That's a long day.
10 to 12 plus travel.
Yeah.
Normally.
And then the edit and everything.
And the edit as well, which is a couple of days, isn't it?
A couple of hours, just.
Yeah.
If you just think it's a job, you're not going to enjoy it, are you? If you just think it's a job, it's not. These hours.
I spend all my free time, and I actually liked, like, if I've got when the missus goes out and Eva goes out and I've got the house to myself for the day, I'm like, do some work. Because I'm weird, and so but it's,
you're not weird. You're creative. I think
it's not. Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to get stuck into doing, work on my YouTube channel or something because that's when I've got free time. That's what I want to be working on. I think that's the way that it becomes. That's when it doesn't feel like work because you're enjoying it that much, and that's where you can throw yourself into it.
That's the other side of it. Is obviously you go out and you film a wedding, which takes you 12 hours, then you've got to edit it, which takes 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Then you've got the social media side of it. That can take, if you just put
so that's full-time job, admin, emails. Yeah,
the admin side of it for you. I mean, for me, it's what time I've got to be there. What's the first dance? Share a few songs with you. There's different shots.
Little bit.
There's a lot of work there, but it's more flexible, isn't it? But there's
every
it's not like you're structured. You've got to go to work.
But with mine, it's more after the wedding. The work goes in. Some suppliers, like florists, it's all beforehand.
Yeah.
But we all put out. I mean, you just don't really switch off, do you? You're kind of really, on hand all the time, replying to messages, whatever. So you've got to enjoy it.
You have to enjoy it, 100%.
Oh, sweet. Thank you, mate. Brilliant. Cheers. Got a couple of questions to end on.
Yes, we have. We've got to ask about a story. Andy. So, have you got
one standout, embarrassing, funny,
an embarrassing thing that's happened at a wedding, or a story that really stands out?
Yeah, I have.
Go on then.
Just one.
We've got to try and keep it fairly clean.
I can tell you loads, but they are a bit crass and not.
You must see, as a DJ late night, you must see all sorts.
And people when they've had a drink are stupid sometimes and do silly things and do things in front of people that they shouldn't be doing in front of people. But I think that's just weddings in general. But I remember a couple of years ago, it was a wedding with you actually, and a girl. I've got like a DJ booth.
I know what you're gonna say.
Like a DJ booth, and it's like a barrier to keep all the lunatics away from me. But this girl came up to me one night and she goes, "Do you know where the toilets are?" And I says, "Yeah." I says, "Go down to the bar. If you make a left, and it's right at the end of the corridor." She goes, "No, I'm not doing." And she just hoisted the skirt up, dropped the knickers, and had a pee right there and then in front of me.
We are both stood there at this time, aren't we?
As she weed, she just looked at me directly in the eye as she was doing it. And
intensely.
She obviously had been drinking a lot because she retained a lot of fluid and she was there for ages. And I thought, all the electrics here, this place is going to go up. And she finished.
Is there not a song that you could have played at that moment that related to that?
Oh my!
She just stood up and walked away and didn't even say like thanks.
Something by Wet Wet Wet, or I don't know. Right.
She didn't apologise. She kind of wobbled off. And
that is definitely one of our joint greatest best wedding moments.
It was, it was a fun wedding that, and the toilets were miles away. To be fair,
we will tell you which wedding that was at.
Oh well, we'll let her off then. Right. Okay, so this is the question that we ask everybody that comes on. If you could swap professions within the wedding industry and do something else other than DJing, and you were to just start again tomorrow in a different
Oh, blimey.
What would you do?
What would you do?
And why?
I always envy people like like yourself and Gavin Jones, who can sing and get the attention of a crowd and have them in the palm of your hand. And so I think I might be a singer, like in a band, like Gavin, with the
Frontman.
giving the beans, the tattoos, and the come on everybody and all that. Yeah,
This is we've talked about this before loads of times. All the kind of love and affection that Howard gets because people are like vibing off of what he's doing, and he finishes his set and everyone's oh my god, you're amazing. And I because I don't get that.
I don't get that.
So I maybe it's a similar thing. It's that craving of like all the love and attention and stuff.
Or maybe being in the band as well. Maybe being able to play piano and be a frontman of a band, I think would be really cool.
Yes. Very
I've
cool.
always wanted to learn an instrument, but just never had the time to do it. Just a bit
Good.
lazy.
My answer was DJ.
His answer was DJ.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But then I told him all of the stuff that goes into it, and he went,
Yeah.
I don't know anyway.
I have also been toying with the idea of doing a bit of video, but I've noticed over the past 6 to 8 months, I haven't got the patience. Like to do a 30-second clip
Yeah, it takes a while.
winds
Yeah.
me right. I don't know how you do speeches and ceremonies and all that. I'd be pulling my hair out, but yeah, a front man.
But yeah, no, I just like the art of DJing. I'm interested in learning, but
Okay, it's not hard, it's just-
what's it like dealing with is it more sort of nice interactions than annoying drunks saying play my tune?
I'm quite a simple bloke, and at a wedding, if you want to hear a song, I'd rather you come up to me and say, excuse me, do you have Mr. Brightside by the Killers? And I'll go, yes. And they'll say, will you play it? What I don't like is the guy who comes up and goes, hi mate, you see him over there? He's my uncle, and he's just come all the way from Australia. He's been here for 3 weeks. Back in 1976, when we were kids, we used to go to this bit. I was like, just tell me the name of the song. Just tell me the name of the song. No. I'll tell you in a minute. So we were on this beach one day. We're walking down, and I was like, just tell me the name of the song, because I've only got 3 minutes. But yeah,
Lucy had asked a question for the next guest, which she knew was you.
Yeah.
And it was, what would be your dream first dance song and last dance?
If you had
last
the
song
choice of the
night.
music,
of me doing it.
Yeah.
what would you use your
Because
first dance and
I'm
last
well
dance?
into music, so I would like to know this answer.
Pretty much 99% of all my weddings, I now finish with Don't Look Back in Anger, but a live version, which is way better than the original. And people always embrace it because it's 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it's
the
a
well,
good
the
one,
well
isn't it?
greased
It's
up
a good
anyway.
one.
But
And
first
it's different
dance,
to My Way or Never Forget or something.
Not the most popular, but what would you choose?
would you
personally?
have?
What do you think that is a killer? That is the best first dance song ever.
really hard question, which I don't think I can answer. Probably something by the Smiths, because I did a wedding about 10 years ago and their first dance was...
Mank through and through, aren't you?
Yeah, well, their first dance was There Is a Light That Never Goes Out. And one of the lines in that is, if a double-decker bus crashes into us, to die by your side. I'm like...
I mean, it is a love song and it's a great
love
tune.
song, yeah.
But it's when you listen to the lyrics, it's probably an odd
I think
choice for first dance.
Something by the Smiths would be my
Nice,
choice,
yeah.
I think.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great Manchester band.
There's a different answer for every DJ, depending where they are around the country.
Yeah.
if you ask me that question tomorrow, I'd probably have a different answer tomorrow.
So at the end of the podcast, we always ask the guest if they have a question for the next guest.
Which
go on.
is a mystery because we don't know who's on next. And
I suppose
but you're not supposed to know. You're supposed to.
Well, because I'm a DJ, I suppose it's got to be music related. So I'd probably ask them, what is the one song that makes them lose their mind at a wedding? The one song that makes them put their tie around the head and rip the shirt off and go for it. I mean, what would it be?
See, here's an extension to that question that I might ask. Is that professional? And would that supplier do, if, like for me, I'm still there in the evening when the music's on, is it okay to jump on the dance floor and get involved?
I think if they finish what they're doing, 100%. I do it all the time.
Professional?
I'll play a song and
I like to have a little dance.
I jump off the stage and I'll dance with the bride.
I do it if I've finished
All the
it
time.
and I'm still around and it's going off on the dance floor. I'll hear a tune. That's my tune. I'm
Listen,
straight on the dance floor.
if you like a song, you like a song, and if you need to dance to it, dance.
And
to
you
it.
know what, Adam? It is the bride loves that.
Yeah,
It's the extra level of personalness. I think.
Yeah. Cool.
I know where you're coming from.
Cool. It's like,
But-
do you have a drink at a wedding?
No,
Never.
can't do it. One's not enough, 10's too many, so I don't see the point. So you're there to work, you're not there to...
I do have a pint during the meal.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
yeah.
yeah. I had a great tip once.
Pour the vodka in the can of orange, so it just looks like you're drinking orange.
No, it was a photographer, and he said if a guest offers you a beer, always accept it, because as soon as you don't, there's that barrier of you could say politely, no, I'm all right, I'm working. And they go, all right, fair enough. But instantly it's created that separation. And whereas if you say yes, they'll like embrace you as one of their own.
Ooh.
So, and I quite liked that.
And do you know what? There's a whole lot of truth in that.
It made sense, yeah, because as soon as they think, all right, he's working, I won't bother him again, there's that little bit of kind of separation.
Maybe you might like that, though.
Yeah, no, but it's like for me, like creatively, I want to
make them
be,
feel really
I want
comfortable.
them, I want to be in with them so that I can then work them a bit better and make them do like, you know,
I'd buy that, yeah.
You know, I can use.
What if they keep offering you beers? Would you have to hide them?
But the better I can get in with the bridesmaids, groomsmen, guests,
Yeah.
I can just get, you know, I'll get bantering with them and be like, oh yeah, go and orchestrate this, and I can set things up.
If you gain their trust, they'll be more relaxed.
So I think there's something in it.
I've done it before. They've got maybe a hip flask and the little lads, do you want a bit, mate? Oh, go on then.
Don't worry, I
Stuff
don't
like
get
that,
drunk, like,
No.
unless I'm abroad, that's different. Andy Murphy, thank you so much.
Mate, legend.
It's been a pleasure, lads. Thanks for inviting me
Where
on.
can people find you?
AndyMurphyDJ.co.uk and on Instagram at Andy Murphy.
Be careful with this one, people, because Andy Murphy's got a clone. He lives in Australia. You quite often find a different Andy Murphy.
But Instagram is at
Andy_Murphy DJ, because I was hacked recently as well.
OnlyFans.
Andy Murphy's. Yeah. Do you know what a toilet idea?
And cut.
Oh God.
Nice
Guys,
cheers,
we really hope you enjoyed today's podcast. It's been a blast for us. It's great to have Andy on. Again, leave us a comment if you watch on YouTube below. Any questions, anything else you think might benefit you in your business, let us know. Otherwise,
we'll see you next time with whoever is next.
I was just going to say they can listen to it on Spotify and Apple. And all that
comes up. Put that
right.
in, yeah.
Guys, thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.
So thanks so much for listening. We really hope that you found this episode insightful, inspirational, and if you did enjoy that, then please consider subscribing to us wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify. We're a Think Wedding Business.
We're also on YouTube and Instagram, so if you want to watch us, you can go over to YouTube and find us at Think Wedding Business, and the same over on Instagram to keep up with all of our future episodes.
We'd really love you to subscribe and join us on this journey. And if you do like this content, please consider giving us a 5-star review. It just helps us get seen and helps spread the word.
So thanks again for listening,
Wings
and we'll see you
out.
next time.
Bye-bye.